Good morning, students. This is Avesh sir, and today I'm going to discuss about the call by reference technique with the help of this matrix program. Now, see what is a call by referencing. Basically, whenever we are going to use a method in the program, we need to call the method, and there are two different ways are available by which we can call a method. So, as based on the type of calling, we can divide the method calling technique into two different categories. First one is called call by value technique and second one is called call by reference technique. Now, what is a call by value technique? See, in call by value technique, in a function, we can pass some variables as an argument. Like you can see the function. This will accept two variables and their values we are passing from the calling statement. So these two variables are also called, as all of you know, are also called formal parameters. This will accept the values from the actual parameters. Now what will happen in the background in case of call by value, there will be two sets of variables will be created. One is called the actual parameter, another one is called the formal parameter, but both of their value is exactly same. Both of their value is exactly same. So now if you make any kind of changes in this function body, that means in the formal parameters, it is not going to reflect in the actual parameters at all. But on the other hand, if you make any kind of change in the actual parameter before calling the function, so this function will receive that modified value from the actual parameter, and the changes is going to be reflected in this formal parameter also. Now on the other hand, in call by reference technique, instead of using two different sets of variable, what we can do, we can just use some global variables with different objects and we can use them. So in that case, multiple copies of the variable is not being created, and any changes in the formal parameter is going to be reflected in the actual parameter also, because we are using the global variables. Now, as based on the concept of global variables, if we create a class variable, as all of you know that whenever we are going to create an object of the class, each of the object will have a separate copy of all the class variables. Now, suppose you consider this program. Here I have a class variable int arr m comma n. Now in the main function, if I create the separate objects like ob and ob1, then both ob and ob1 will have its own personal copy of arr. That means ob have its own arr, that's a separate array, and ob1 have its own separate arr. So that is also a separate array. Both of this objects array is not same. Now we need to use this concept for call by reference technique. Now see what we are doing here. The program will start execution from the main function here. Now in the main function, firstly we are declaring the scanner class for accepting inputs. Then system.out.println enter the size of the first matrix. So we are accepting the size of the first matrix. Now int x1 will be its row size and y1 will be its column size. And after receiving the row size and column size, we have created an objects of the class matrix. So matrix will be equal to new matrix. Then within first bracket we are passing this x1 and y1 as a parameter. Now, as all of you know that whenever we'll create an object, the constructor of the class will be called automatically by the compiler. And since we have passed some variables in the object. That means parameterized constructor, if it's present, it's going to be called. Now let us see, there is a constructor available, it's called matrix. See, the name is same as the class name. Now this will accept two different values, int and int nn. Now in the calling statement, we pass the argument as x1 and y1. That means x1 will become the value of and y1 will become the value of nn. After that, within the function, we have initialized the next two class variables with these two values. So next two class variables are m and n. So m is equal to that means actually m will receive the value of x1 and n will receive the value of y1. After that, the memory will be allocated for the two-dimensional array ARR. So ARR equals to new int then m comma n. So its size will be allocated. Now after this statement, again our control of the program will be jumped to here in the main statement. Now after creation of object, we have called a function called fillArray. So ob.fillArray will again transfer the control of the program to fillArray function. Now just let us see where is the fillArray function. Here is a fillArray function. So control of the program will transfer to this statement. Now within this statement, system.out.println enter the elements of the array. So it will ask you for the array elements. Now again I have declared another scanner class, and here a nested loop is there. That means you need to input all the elements for the array one by one. But for which array? ARR, and this array belongs to the object OB. That means our first array we have received from the user. Now after this, again we are accepting two separate sizes x2 and y2 for the second array. Now again we are creating another different object called ob1, and again we are passing x2 and y2 as its argument. So again the transfer control will be transferred to this statement. Another newly array will be created for the second object called ob1. Now after this, again we have called the fillArray function. So ob1.fillArray, that means again we are accepting the values of the second array from the user by using this function. Now after this, the next statement is ob.submat. So submat is a function. It is used to subtract two matrix, and we have passed, if you see it carefully, we have passed one object, the second object actually ob1, as an argument. Now what will happen in this case? The control of the program will be shifted to this function submat, and this will receive an object of the same class as an argument. So it will not receive any value. Now what are the objects? Objects means basically the memory location where the variables are being stored. So that means this object A will receive the values from object ob1. That means it will have the second matrix within it. Now inside of this function we have created a third matrix. So matrix C, this is a third object, again equals to new matrix, then ARR of length and ARR of length. That means again we have created a new matrix to store the result, and its size is also same like the previous two matrices size. Now after that, there is a nested loop, and within that loop whatever we have performed is C dot error. That means the newly created matrix that belongs to the third object C, that matrix of I and jth element is equal to A dot error ij. That means the matrix that we have received. So it will become the second matrix's value minus error. See, here we have not mentioned any object. So that means if we don't mention any object, it will by default take the calling object's value. Now what is a calling object's value? Just check it. Whenever we have called this function called submat, we have used ob.submat. That means this ob is the calling object. Now what is this ob? Ob object have the value for the first matrix. That means this statement only error of ij will represent the first matrix. That means we are subtracting the second matrix's value and the first matrix, and we are storing the result in the corresponding position of the third matrix. So we have successfully done the subtraction of two matrices and we stored the result in the third matrix C after successfully completion of this nested loop. Then the next statement is we need to return the result, because from the main function we cannot directly print the value of C, because C scope is within this function only. As you can see, we have declared this variable C within this function. Now what we can do, we can return this object. Now to return an object, we need to change the return type of the function, and in this case what will be the return type? Since we are returning an object, and as all of you know that object is a variable, user defined variable of class type, that means here you need to write the class name as its return type. Only then the function can able to return an object. If you write integer, it can be able to return an integer. If you write float, it can be able to return a float value. If you write here class name, then it can able to return an object, because object is a variable of class type. Now after returning the object, again the control of the program will be transferred to that function's calling statement. And if you see it carefully, here I wrote ob equals to this statement. That means the value that will be returned, it is going to store in the object ob. That means ob object's value is going to update. Now initially ob will contain the values of the first matrix, and after this statement ob will contain the value of third matrix. That means the resultant matrix. After that we have called a separate function called display. So ob.display will again transfer the control of a program to this display function, and there we have just displayed the matrix. Now after displaying the result, again the control of the program will return back to main statement, and since it is the last statement, so the program is going to end after this. So I believe all of you can able to understand this. Thank you, students.